Yo, what's going on, yo? We're here for another Champagne Campaign show. Now with my boy, Emanuel.
What's going on, man?
How you doing, bro?
Cheers, man. Yep.
So let's get right to it, man. Can you tell us a bit about yourself and about your background, man?
Yeah, I'll talk into the mic. So, going on 5 years now, I've been doing the online advertising. I think that's what we talked about when I met you.
Yeah.
So like literally, man, a little bit of my background. I'm from Jacksonville, Florida. Well, St. Augustine, but it's like right by Jacksonville.
Yeah. Florida boy.
Yeah, man. So I just, I was kind of always like an average student. I didn't really have a lot of I played ball and stuff, but I knew I wasn't gonna play in college. So right after school, I was doing the college thing, as far as not basketball wise, but school.
Yeah.
Going to this community college, and I kind of just was man, I don't want to do college.
Yeah.
So I got rolling with a sales job selling print advertising.
Nice.
And what I learned when I did that was that there was also online advertising, specifically social media, was starting to become kind of a thing.
It's growing.
Yeah, it was this would be 2018, so it was kind of picking up.
Yeah.
But at the time, dude, no one was running ads on social media.
It was still a new thing.
For sure.
It was still a new thing. It was still a new little business. It was fairly new to everyone. I know a lot of companies now, they pay a lot of money for advertisements and for people to bring traction to their company, to their platforms or whatever. So I know back then. So you want to say you were kind of the first people to get into that?
I wouldn't have been the first, but I was the first. I feel because I had moved to Orlando at the time, and when I was selling print, I was the first to really in that area to start. I feel selling businesses on, more specifically, Facebook and Instagram advertising.
Yeah.
That was and what I was really trying to do was video advertising. So you're getting big with the content. That's what I was doing, is I was trying to help them create commercials and then blast it as ads on social media. But the thing was, back then, dude, it was every client I got, it was a home run. But I couldn't get that many clients because they didn't understand the concept.
Yeah, they didn't know exactly what they're getting into.
No.
What am I paying you for? I can just download the social media and then people will follow.
Well, they just didn't understand they didn't understand the advertising side.
Yeah.
So they understood, like you said, they understood organic, right?
Yeah.
But they didn't understand actually
reaching out to the audience and actually retaining them and.
Yeah, it was a new thing, and it was frustrating, man, because I'm selling this print advertising every day.
Yeah.
Selling ad spots in these school newsletters.
Yeah. Which
was bullshit advertising. But I don't think my company I used to work for will hear this, so we're good.
Yeah.
But,
hopefully not.
But yeah, it was bullshit. I mean, I don't mean to say bullshit advertising, but it was just not the same as social media advertising.
Yeah.
So I got into that, and for a year and a half, dude, it just would not I was every day, dude, I'm gonna quit this, because my life was hard at the time, dude. I moved out. I was living in apartment. That was, I think it was $1,100 a month. Every month, dude, I'm barely making the rent, every month. And I'm taking the bus to working a couple different jobs, trying to get that business off the ground in the time that I had.
Yeah.
But it just was, it took a long time to get it going. But then eventually what I did was I sold a client from the print job on, working with me on the Facebook advertising. I think I was charging $300 a month at the time.
Yeah.
Which I get into how to progress, but at the time that was huge money for me. Way more than
you have a client, so it's major.
The biggest client I had, I think I was charging them on the retainer was $10,000 a month on their package. Now there were a lot of people involved in that, so I had different people that were working the project. I had to hire people. It wasn't it was just me running it.
Yeah.
But still, man, my average deal size could be $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month just by kind of me and another guy I hire working it. So but that 300 was the best money I ever made was the $70 I got paid to set up someone's Facebook page. That was the first money I actually ever made.
Wow.
But it was that was such big money, dude, that I literally was driving in my Civic and was just I thought I made $1 million.
Yeah.
I know that sounds retarded, right? But it's just
when you're doing your own thing, when you're doing your own thing, bro, like you gotta understand, man, when you're creating something from nothing, from your mind, and you're putting it out to give out to the world, like even if you're getting paid just $1 at the beginning,
100%, because it's
it
like
matters, bro.
what it does is it shows you that you can make money outside of the general way that everybody's making money.
Yeah, exactly.
I think what sucks in the beginning is like, okay, that's cool, but it's like you still need to pay the bills and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So that makes it harder, right? Because $70 for a project, I can't set up enough Facebook pages and get the customers enough to pay my bills. But it still showed me that there's something here. It's why I stuck with it. Because I had nothing else to really go for, you know? So, long story short, that was just what I pursued, man. And really in 2019 is when it really started taking off, So
what do you say inspired you to start that venture, that project? Like what pushed you to be like? Because you said you stated at the first you were playing ball. Because you got a decent size on you, so I definitely believe you. I could definitely see that you were playing basketball or football, or whatever sport what sport did you play? Basketball.
I played basketball. I want to play football, but I just never did. Yeah.
So in high school I wanted to play basketball. I told myself that because I couldn't shoot, it was a bad idea, and now I regret it my whole life because I see people like Patrick Beverly who don't shoot at all, and they're in the league.
No, I get it.
But yeah, man. So basically, what I was saying is like, what inspired you to after you left the sports and after you got out of college, what inspired you to be like, yo, I want to do advertising? Like, what brought you to that? Like, what made me say, all right, you know what? I like advertising. I don't see anybody in it. Let me do it and do my thing.
Oh God, it's good. Dude. You know what it was, and I'm glad I'm remembering it at the right time. Yeah. I just had like this really real moment where it was like almost kind of like a psychedelic. Yeah. I wasn't doing drugs or anything, but it was just a real moment that hit me. Yeah. And I was in a pretty dark place at the time because it was just like I was in a bad relationship, and I'm 19 and I'm thinking in my head, I go from this kid at my school that was somewhat popular, had won awards for just school superlative type of thing, and somewhat popular on the basketball team, had had a lot of friends, to just like the highs of highs to like the lows of lows of like everybody had left. Yeah. And I'm literally in a city where there's nothing going on, nothing to do. I'm living with my mom in the beginning. Yeah. And then I had moved to Orlando thinking like, oh, this is going to be a great move, just to fall flat on my face. I don't know anybody, So I just finally got to a point where I was like, dude, like, what am I good at? Yeah. I think that's what most people like, they struggle with, is just really looking in the mirror and be like, what are my skills, right? So you have a passion for music. It's like, okay, how can I make money with music, And it might not, in the beginning, it might not be like you're making $100,000 a year doing music. Exactly. It's just the reality. Like, you got to kind of build that foundation out. But the thing is, man, it's like once you realize you can make $10,000, you probably think like, okay, now I can go make $30,000 a year. Yeah. Now I could go make 50. Now I could go make, like, it's steps, right? You build up to it. But I think with people, the mistake they make is they never fully self-evaluate to realize what their talents are. Yeah. So, like, we'll go into the sports thing. I love sports. Yeah. Now I realize, okay, the betting thing. Yeah. Now, last year, dude, I just started doing last year. We'll get into it later. But there's money to be made with that. Like, I literally just made money last month going to sign up for a bunch of different sportsbook promotions. Wow. And I made good money doing that. Yeah. That's a passion of mine, sports. And I made money going to do sportsbook promotions, which I could talk about later. But most people, they never just like look themselves in the mirror and say, what am I actually good at? Like, what are my talents? What are my skill sets? Because they just get so bogged down into having to get a job and providing for a family. And that's reality, dude. Like, you can't, all these people online are full of shit that are like, oh, you're gonna just stop and go be an entrepreneur. No, man. Like, you can't, there's steps to it. Like, for 2 years, I kept my job. Yeah. Honestly, I didn't leave my job till 2019. Wow. Right before COVID. Wow. And then I got going with this, and I've been rolling ever since. But I'd say like for most people, start something around your job, and you know, then what'll happen eventually is that like, you know, you'll get some momentum and build from there. You know, so yeah, man. No, but that's what I would say. I mean, I'm not the one to give the best advice in the world, but I've been just going off my own experience. Yeah, that's what I'd say. You know. So
based on your own experience, like, you know, as you said, what can you share any like valuable lessons that you learned like throughout your journey, like you know up until now? Like what can you say? What have you seen in the business for like, you know, prospective entrepreneurs like yourself that want to get into advertising? Like what can you say?
I want to not give any like bullshit advice. So let me just try to go off like what I would tell my younger self type of thing. Yeah. There's so many people online like that tell you it's like it's crazy. Just like dumb shit, right? I think
get out of your job and go buy a Volkswagen.
All that's retarded, right? Like let's take like loans and stuff like that out. If they never tell you what to do with the money you make from, like, I'm not gonna get into any of that. But I would say, man, like something really practical, regardless of what you're trying to get into. And this is gonna sound really, really simple to do, but hopefully this helps. Is spend the money that you have. Or the even if you don't have money, try to do research on where people are at and go to it. So like how I started getting my first clients, really started getting momentum, is I would go to these conferences that were business related, and I just have good dialogue. But the thing that everybody's trying to do, where they're fucking up at, is they're trying to do everything on social media, which can work, but it's also not as easy as like I'm in a room of 50 people that also want to do the same thing.
Exactly.
So if you can, like, if you're trying to,
so you suggest going to like
you got to go in person. You got to go in person because it's like the same thing with chicks, right? Yeah. It's like, okay, if I'm trying to get, you know, a girl, right? Or if let's just say I'm trying to go on a date with a chick, right? Yeah. It's way harder to just pound Tinder and other dating platforms than to go down to, you know, a bar down here, Moxie's, The Wharf, all these different places, and just start having a conversation. Exactly. It's the same thing goes for business. Like, if you could find out where people are at, so like music, right? Yeah. Okay, I need to get to Atlanta, a flight, and maybe you can't afford to do certain things, but you're like, okay, a flight to Atlanta from here is $30 each way for in a month from now. Yeah. I book it in advance. I'd get the shittiest Airbnb, and that's what I did. Yeah. Like I would get the worst Airbnb here in Miami, and I would spend my last $1,000 to go on a conference, to go meet people, shake their hands, make something happen,
make it work.
And every time, here's what people don't realize, right? If you do that, it's not like it's not gonna just be like magic overnight. Yeah. But you're gonna find one person hopefully one person that you get something going with. That turns into money. You know? Yeah. One person. I'm not, and it's a maybe one, and it's not like you're gonna hit one person every time. Yeah. It's once you keep showing up to these different things, and like even me, I need to do more of that myself now. Like, you know what I mean? It's like I get so caught up into clientele I have, the deals I already have, the connections I already have. You gotta be hunting for new stuff to come in, man. You know? Definitely. So that's the biggest advice I could get, man. It's like just get around the people, and you'd be blown away that for a certain amount of money, the rooms you could get in. Yeah. But I think also people have this like, and I've struggled with it too, is like they have such low self-confidence that they don't think of themselves in a way of going to these places and actually being able to, you know,
like people think it's like, what's the chance of me walking in there and someone's actually giving me the time of day?
Yeah, and the problem is like, okay, they wear the shittiest shirt to like a conference. It's like, dude, it's not that you're not presentable, it's what you're wearing. Yeah, exactly. You don't look presentable because of your attire, right? You know. So like if I'm going to a conference, I could go to Goodwill, but I want to be very selective of what I get from Goodwill. I want to look presentable.
Honestly, bro, the best place to go if you need fashion tips, anything, if you don't want to spend too much money, go to H&M. H&M,
yeah,
Zara,
H&M, exactly.
H&M, Zara, that's it, bro. You're Urban Outfitters, you're good.
In the beginning, you want to bluff a little bit. Like that's what people don't want. That's what people say. Now I'm not saying you need to go out and. It's like the same thing if you go out to a bar and try to talk to a girl.
Yeah.
I'll throw a joke out all the time.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, I'm the king of Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah.
He's like, says who? It says me. You know what I mean? Like
you gotta have that confidence.
And I don't know anybody here.
Yeah.
Like no, like the king. It's a joke, right? It's like I don't know anybody really here. I mean, I know people around the apartment and stuff like that, but the king of Fort Lauderdale. I mean, there's no sort of actual title for that,
exactly.
But it's the way you present yourself.
Exactly.
It's the way. Same thing in business. Like you don't have to say I'm making $10 million, right?
Yeah.
But the way you articulate yourself,
the way you carry yourself, the way you talk,
you say,
the way you respond.
you say I have a really great clientele. Well, that's subjective.
Yeah.
For me, a great clientele is maybe different than a great clientele for someone that's running $1 billion ad agency.
Definitely.
But to me, it's great.
Yeah.
So I'm presenting that. And so they don't know, it's all subjective.
Yeah.
So that's how I'd go about it, man. If I was,
So how do you stay motivated and focused on your goals? I feel like that's one of my favorite questions, man. How do you stay motivated? How do you stay focused on your goals? Like what, because me sometimes, and I don't know how anybody else, how they agree, but a lot of times I feel like, I'll have something that I want to do. I have a goal that I want to do. And then as I'm like progressing or as I'm getting to that goal, like I'll feel like a whole bunch of negatives, a whole bunch of things just in my head that will just stop me. Something will either deter me or slow me down, or I always feel like I'm always finding myself having to pick myself back up to keep myself motivated. And like, yo, don't worry, Joe, you're gonna do this.
Well, I think that's how it goes, dude. Like
that's just life, right?
Yeah, like I don't think that any person can genuinely sit here and say like, and some guys maybe are on that type of time, but for me, to keep yourself up, it's tough, man. Because realistically, man, like we have kids and stuff like that. Like life happens.
Yeah, life happens, man.
Life happens. I just try to have more good days than bad, dude. Like that's what I'm focused on. Not every day is the most productive day in the world, but if you still it's like working out, right?
Yeah.
I work out probably 5 times a week, 6 times a week. If I'm really feeling good, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Not every workout is a great workout, but at least I'm showing up.
Yeah.
And I try to have the same approach to business. Now I could do a lot better.
Yeah.
But I try to have the same approach where it's like, okay, I'm gonna get my clients' projects done.
Yeah.
I'm gonna prospect for new business.
Yeah.
Not every day is a great day though.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of horrible days where
sometimes
so it's more about like just persevering and trying to have better days than you, but you're gonna have shitty days, man. Like that's just life, You're gonna have days where the day starts off wrong and you're driving and your car has a problem or someone has an issue and life happens, but you just try to in the days that you are in a flow state, which I mean by that is like when everything's going, you go off that momentum.
Exactly.
So I have some nights, man, like 11 p.m. rolls around and I just have this crazy momentum and I'm just like, man, like I feel good right now, and some people like, I get what people say of doing things when you don't feel like doing it.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that when you have those surges in energy and confidence and this and that, go roll with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're still gonna have to push through the times you feel like shit. But at the same time, it might not be as much there might not be as much work produced compared to when you're in a flow state.
Yeah.
When I'm in a flow state and it's 11 o'clock and I'm just surging with energy and pumped up, then I let it keep rolling. Compared to being like, no, I need to go to bed and get up for 8 a.m. Because I know at 8, 9 a.m. I might not have the same momentum.
Yeah, you might. Yeah, I see exactly what you mean.
But some people, I get the mindset. Some people just wake up at the same time every day.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm more of a momentum kind of guy.
Sometimes you got to catch a little momentum.
For sure.
And how would you define success, and what does it mean to you personally?
Man, that's a good question, bro. Success.
Belaire Rose.
I would say for me, success is like reaching the highest version of what you personally feel like was like reaching your highest self.
Yeah.
I guess is
your best self, getting to your best self.
I'm not even close to that yet, but I've felt it at times where I just things were rolling.
That's crazy, man. Like sometimes I feel like I'll see myself, like the person that I want to be, and I'll see like either. It's weird, bro. Like it's weird. I have like these weird visions sometimes, man. But sometimes I feel like I'll see myself like the person I want to be, and then they'll just be looking at me like you know, like whenever I'm doing something that I know that's like getting me closer to where I want to be, I'll feel like something inside of me is like, yeah, yo, like this is it. You got to keep going. So
I think what a lot of people struggle with is they're too outward about where they should be. So it's like if you see like Drake, it's like you're not gonna have the same trajectory as Drake. You have your own momentum. You have your own thing, but sometimes it's like
I blame social media for that, man. I know exactly what you're saying. Like we look at social media, we're in a time now where like instead of us worrying about where we are, what we need to do, we'll get tired, we'll get fed up, and then we'll take a little mental break on Instagram, and then we'll just start beating ourselves up like, damn, how come I'm not like this? How come I'm not doing this? How come this person's doing all this? How come, you know what I'm saying? We need to really just get back to a place where we're like, yo, I'm happy for you. That's really good that you're doing that. Let me get back to my shit.
Yeah, and like you can pull inspiration, right? Yeah. But it's like sometimes too, man, like if you look at that too much, and you want to be somebody else,
it's gonna
so
affect
much you can never get to what your trajectory was, right? Man. So it's like a lot of guys, maybe they see these girls online that like a rapper is with and a ball player is like, oh wow, I want to be with her.
Yeah.
But then you start to really, if you actually see that and you start to be around that, then maybe you don't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and it's like maybe that guy wants to be a guy that's like us in a way that's not how do I explain it? That doesn't have the pressure of having to maybe show an image.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So it's like everybody probably wants something else that everybody else has, right? Like you know what I'm saying? Like I'm sure Jay-Z, for example, as successful as he is, he's a billionaire. He probably looks at a guy that's like super jacked in shape, that like maybe Beyonce thinks is more attractive than him, and desires something he has. Even though most people are looking up to him. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, and maybe I'm wrong on that. I could be wrong on that, but it's a concept, right? So it's like the guy that's super rich, the 50-year-old guy down here that's with the hot chick that is around him for money. He would probably give every last penny he had to be a ripped 25-year-old guy that's in shape that maybe doesn't have any money. That the girl genuinely wants to be with because of his shape. You know, like I'll give you a quick example, and then I'll let you transition. But I have a friend, man, that's he's super ripped, like he's got like a six-pack and stuff like that. And I was hanging out with him, and like girls are liking his profile just because he's like jacked. And he's just not a regular guy. He's successful. He works in New York, and he's gonna be working on Wall Street. But my point is that a lot of people would pay millions of dollars to be him. Because of his appearance. Just because of his physique. And stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, so, man. Hopefully that answers a little bit.
One question I'll have for you is, how do you manage your time effectively? How do you prioritize and manage your time effectively? What do you do to make sure everything is in order, make sure you stay on task, and
I try to stay consistent with like a to-do list. Like I try, and a calendar. So I try to keep things on schedule. If I try to write it down, right? I still struggle with it, dude. Like it's not perfect at all. Like life comes up and things happen, and
definitely.
But for me, if I know what got to get done ahead of time, I just try to knock through it. But I'm all about the way I live my life, dude. And some people might live like this, some people might not. But I like work hard, play hard. I like to work hard throughout the day. And then when there's something going on, like tonight I'm going to go out.
Exactly.
I like to live that life. Now, some people don't. And the problem is that people that are work hard, play hard, they might go and look at someone online and saying I worked 16 hours a day.
I can't even afford
Well, even someone that says I'm 16 hours, these people online are like, oh, I worked 16 hours a day through my 20s. I never had a day off. And they might try to go be like them.
Yeah.
And then just like fall on their face.
Yeah.
Because they never developed other aspects of their life, right?
Yeah.
So that's just me personally. Some people might say I'm wrong,
Yeah.
but that's how I live my life. I work hard and I play hard.
So one last question I have before we jump into sports and stuff like that. Is there anything else that you would like to just share with the audience? Just talk about the business and stuff like that.
Trying to see what I'm missing out on, man. I don't know. No, I don't. I feel like we covered a lot. I mean, nah, man. I don't know. I probably regret it later because I'll be like, what did I miss?
Yeah,
but no,
yeah,
I feel like we covered a good bit. So.
Yeah, man. It's killing me. I'm not liking it, but I've been a Heat fan for as long as I can remember. All right, and we haven't been to the finals that many times, right? But the times that we were in the playoffs, the Heat never won game one. So. And I know everyone's trying to write them off and say they're going to get swept, but I really feel like Heat's going to steal game 2 tomorrow. And just because the way we ended game 1, because the whole game we were trailing, right? We were trailing. And by the fourth quarter, I feel like we closed the gap enough to lose by like 9 to 11 points. But I feel like it was a good loss. Like, it was a good loss to like, yo, I know how you're going to play, and this is how I'm going to react now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like Heat's gonna come in and they're gonna answer. I feel like they're gonna hit him in the face. They're gonna hit him in the mouth, and they might not know how to respond to it. So I believe Heat's gonna tie it up. Game 2.
I'm iffy. So my thoughts on that are, I did watch game 1. I didn't watch the whole thing because I watched the first half.
Yeah.
So
I was pissed.
It's a different game if the Heat shoot better.
Yeah.
But it did feel like Denver was in control of that game the entire game.
Yeah. The whole game.
I think the thing is, I'd like to believe that, the Heat are going to play better.
Yeah.
Offensively.
Yeah.
Because the shots that I saw, they weren't like, it's not like they were missing super hard shots.
Yeah. Jimmy was making some wild shots though.
See, that's the thing that worries me though, to be completely honest with me as Jimmy.
Yeah.
Because Jimmy, aside from maybe game 7, he just has been very passive since about game 4 to 5 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Mm-hmm. They're not winning if Jimmy's not having good games. Now, I'm not saying he needs to drop 40.
Yeah.
But he's got to have probably 25, 30 and win. It was weird they didn't shoot many free throws. That to me was very strange.
Yeah. But I just feel like at the end of the day, it's gonna come down to who wants it more. So if Denver beats Miami, then fine. You know what? I'll accept that they were the better team. But I really feel like
I'd like to say Miami's gonna have a punch.
Who wants it more? And I feel like Jimmy wants it more, but time will tell. Only time.
I don't
will
know
tell.
if it's gonna be who wants it more. I think it's gonna be more about can Denver, how consistent will Denver be?
Yeah.
So Denver's playing great every game like they did against the Lakers. Like Lakers, dude, they had these crazy 16, 20-point swings. I think without Lakers should have pushed that series to 6-7 games.
Yeah.
Like the Lakers, so that's what worries me. And the Heat are massively undersized.
Yeah.
That worries me as well. So I'm iffy on that. I'm like, I would like to say that the Heat can push this. If I predict the series, dude, I think this series definitely goes 6 to 7 games. But everybody's like sweep.
Yeah.
Maybe. But the games in Miami, I think Miami's
not getting swept, bro.
I don't know, man. I'm very curious to see how this series plays out. I like a 6 to 7 game series though, for sure. I think the Heat will win. I know a lot of people are saying Denver in 5. We'll see. But
no way, bro.
I don't see that.
It's going down.
I'm interested to see the people on here. By the time you post it, though, you'll be pretty far. We'll actually be in the series, so we might look like idiots if they get swept or 5
Oh my God!
A few moments later.
It's over. At last, the long wait is over. After 47 years, the Denver Nuggets can finally call themselves NBA champions.
Let's jump in a little bit on boxing, man. So, did you ever catch the Ryan Garcia and Gervonta fight?
I did. I actually had something going on Garcia. You know, the thing is,
why did you bet on Garcia? I want to know why you betted on Garcia. Did you think he was gonna be? Did you think he was the better boxer? Or did you think he was gonna just beat Tank? Period.
I know this sounds ridiculous.
Yeah.
Looking back, I still saw past the victory, even looking back now, that he could have beat Tank.
Yeah.
Tank to me isn't unbeatable. It's just, the problem is that I don't think Garcia, this is tough to say, but I don't think he 100% was ready for that fight.
Yeah.
Looking back.
Yeah.
I thought he was before, but I think he made just a lot of he just wasn't mature enough.
Yeah.
And he was to me the problem was I thought he had improved a little bit defensively.
Yeah.
Assuming the coaching that he had.
Yeah,
he just didn't, man. He wasn't ready for that fight.
Yeah.
I don't mean to say it in a way of like he wasn't ready maybe mentally, but skill wise. Yeah. He wasn't defensively sound at all. He was too immature for that fight. I think Tank just is
Tank was too experienced, man.
He was experienced, and he seemed to sit back and just kind of like, okay, this guy is not as experienced as me. I still think Garcia has this the ability to beat him. Yeah. You saw that at certain times. He just and I'm not gonna say overpowering him, but like at certain points in the fight, I was like, oh wow, like Tank is struggling.
That boxing IQ, man, like yo, man, this man Tank is a student of the game.
That's what killed him. And that's what killed Garcia. He just didn't. He wasn't mentally there.
Like Garcia, he has the athletic ability, he has the strength, he has, you know what I'm saying, he has the haymaker, he has everything, but it's like what he needs to still work on is the mind, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like he needs to train his boxing mind, bro, because like Gervonta still has an elite level boxing mind, bro. Because it's like for you, for example, with Rolly had this man on the ropes. You know what I'm saying? It looked like he was going down, but he's smart enough to like, all right, yo, I'm fucked up, I'm on the ropes right now, but I'm just gonna wait till this man just gives me just a tiny opening. That's all. It's like Tank is just waiting for a right moment just to get a knockout. You know what I'm saying? So he'll let you eat up round 1, 2, 3. He'll come back 5 and 6, but in 7 or 8, he's waiting for you just to slip up and then catch you. That's how he caught Rolly. And with Garcia, it was the same thing. Like Garcia was coming at him, he was the aggressor. He dodged him and then he left his arm open and fucking caught him with the liver shot.
See, though, I think Garcia, though, he fought a little bit different of a fight. I would disagree to a little bit of an extent because the Garcia fight, I thought Tank was winning the rounds. Yeah. When a lot of times Tank isn't winning the rounds. Yeah. So that was the only difference. And I thought that...
I thought Garcia won the rounds, man.
No, if you look back at the fight, he wasn't winning round to round. Tank was winning.
Because the way Tank... I gotta look back on that.
Look at the fight again, but Tank had more volume. He was winning like...
No, yeah, you know what? You're right. Tank wasn't hitting as much, but his punches were landing.
Well, Garcia really didn't... Garcia wasn't getting... I actually think it was the opposite. I'm going to look back at the fight, but I thought that Garcia... Some of the shots Garcia had were good shots. Yeah. But he wasn't winning the rounds. Yeah. I think Tank was winning the rounds. I think that Tank... Now, I really wasn't impressed with Haney. Yeah. So,
yo, they need to do a rematch. And then it's weird to like for Haney to downplay it, his dad to downplay it, and it's like, you know what I'm saying? And then he had like the perfect response. He was like, yo, it's legacy this and legacy that. If he wants to cement his legacy, he's gonna give me a rematch. Because if everybody's saying you fucking lost, even like some rappers got on FaceTime. Like I seen Nelly. Nelly was like, yo, I have no comment. After this match, I have no comment. You guys know what you did. You know what I'm saying? Like it was rigged. It was bullshit. So it's like I feel like sometimes maybe the boxing federation kind of like fell victim to the hype and to the Devin Haney's following. But man,
I think it was close. I actually think it was a lot closer than people think because you gotta understand, man, they're judging 12 rounds.
So then it should have ended in a tie.
So I think it should have probably been a draw. I do agree with that.
Or a draw, whatever. I mean, I don't know, man. I mean,
here's the problem, though. Here's the problem with fighting. This is the problem with fighting. If I fight you, we're fighting a 10-round fight.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of slightly beating you first round, second round, third round, fourth round.
You got to put me away.
And then, let's just say I'm beating you from the first round to the sixth round, and I'm slightly edging you so let's say I'm getting 10-9s, 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 10-9s.
10-9.
But then you start beating my ass.
Yeah.
And it's 7th to the 10th. I might still win that fight.
Yeah.
Because I'm slightly beating you from 1 to 6.
Yeah.
The same thing goes on in UFC. So like UFC, it's like if I win the first 2 rounds, barely edging you, and then in the third round, you're kind of kicking my ass, I could still win that fight. And it's all based off judges. Like, so the problem with boxing too, and it's always been the problem with boxing. Boxing is one of those sports that they're not like the guy that's 30-0. That's the promoted fighter.
Yeah.
I would like to believe this. I don't know this to be fact. This could be something that's fiction. But it's a lot worse for the sport promoting it if a guy's like 30-1.
Yeah.
If Mayweather would have lost, right?
Yeah.
People aren't watching as much. To see him fight somebody.
Yeah.
Now they might still watch, but I mean, if it's a big fight, but it's like boxing, I think they protect more of the undefeated thing. So that's why, like, with Devin, I think that fight was a draw.
Yeah.
I would like to say, or edged Lomachenko. But I could also see where Devin might have won that fight. It was close, but you have to look at every round, man. You can't look at... That's the thing that we as humans do.
Like we'll see the highlights and the big hits, but it's like, yo, we watch the fight as a whole.
You gotta watch it as a whole. You can't watch. So the problem is round 1 through 5. If you watch that, what are we talking about? I thought Devin was winning the early rounds. I really do. I thought he had more activity. I thought it was more.
He slowed down a little bit towards the end.
Well, because Lomachenko had the better hits.
Yeah.
And he was winning towards the end, and Haney really had nothing for him towards the end.
Yeah.
But that's what our human brain remembers, is the end. We don't remember the beginning where he was edging him out. And he was edging him out. I hate to say this. He was winning in the beginning. He was winning barely, but he was winning. So I think boxing is interesting that way. I think UFC is the same way. And I that's the one thing I hate about sports is judges. Me and you might have a different opinion on something, and we're fucking... officiating, it should be down the line.
Yeah,
it should be a system that should be 100% like basketball. You score 100 points, I score 98 points, you beat me. Doesn't matter how the points are scored. That's how it is, you know. So that's it's shitty in that way that it's not a sport where I might be smoking you like street fight, right? If you're beating me a little bit in the beginning of the street fight, getting a few more punches, but I just hit you hard, you drop, I boom, boom, boom. Maybe I don't knock you out.
Yeah.
Everyone's gonna remember that street fight. Ooh, he knocked
you down.
He knocked you down. Right? They're not gonna remember that.
Even if at the whole beginning of the fight, like I was probably like just knocking, like I was like just tossing you, and then all you did was hit me one time.
They remember that one.
All they're gonna remember is that one punch that you hit me with, and I knocked out. It's gonna be like, yo, nah, bro, you lost. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So, yeah. Yeah, man. So it looks like we're getting towards a little bit of the end.
For sure, man. No, this has been great.
Man, it's been a great interview, man. Thank you.
Absolutely, brother.
For
Here anytime,
joining
man.
me today, man.
Hopefully you got some good content out of this and
Definitely
pump it out, man.
Definitely
So
did, man.
it's definitely probably a unique interview because it's a different path,
Yeah,
different person.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
man, I had a great time. Appreciate you having
man.
me on, brother.
Nah, man, no problem, man.
You're the man.
Thank
you,
you,
brother.
man.
Yep. Thank you.
And that's the show, guys. Thank you so much for joining me on Champagne Campaign. That's the second episode. I'll see you next time. Entrepreneurs, hit me up. Let's link up. Let's talk. Rose, you already know. Thank you, man.
Cheers.